host, Nikki.
I'm your host, Tony.
And you've got it tapped to the Manasync, a podcast and YouTube channel where we talk about Commander and the cards you're going to want to sink your mana into. What are we going to talk about today, Tony?
Well, today is an introductory video. We first would like to talk about ourselves and who we are, and then we would like to talk about the channel and what we intend for the channel going into further into the future.
Some hopes, I guess you could say.
Hopes and dreams. And finishing up, we would like to explain what Commander is in case anyone does not know what Commander is and would like to get into it.
And to give a little context.
Yeah.
And so, let's get into who we are. We are brothers.
Yes, we are.
And you, little brother, being the first one to discover magic, you can tell them your story of the sort of beginnings.
Yeah. I pretty much always had magic cards. I got some when I was like 6 or 7. I saw them at a store. I asked our mom to buy them, and
what made you, like, what made it stand out to you?
the art, and I was really into like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that, and I was just like, oh, Magic the Gathering, that's cool. So I got them, opened them up, didn't know a single thing, and didn't know a single thing for years. I managed to get more cards as well.
Yeah.
The first things I got were some precons in the Ravnica block, and I don't know what the second.
Well, you just had like a stack of cards.
I had a
It's
stack
like
of cards, but
down the line or whatever, but you
Yeah.
didn't know how to play the game. But you had them.
Yeah.
And then it would be years later, I would get hurt and staying at home with you guys because I needed the help. And we went over to our brother Chris's house. And you brought your stack of cards. And he had a deck builder's toolkit. And so he had made some decks using that toolkit. And he taught us how to play, like what Magic was, the principles of it.
Yeah.
And then we just played tabletop for a little over a year.
Yeah.
And then this Christmas will be 1 year since I decided to get into Commander.
Yeah.
And
forcing me to get into Commander as well.
sharing it with you? I don't know about forcing.
Well, I mean, you have a very abrasive way of convincing.
But yes, I built Alora.
Yeah.
And who is your first Commander?
Kalia Zenthseeker, that then the deck evolved to a Kalia of the Vast.
But as somebody who forced you into it, I really helped you along. I knew you wanted to do the Mardu, so I had gotten you like a handful of Mardu commanders to choose from.
And then I didn't use them at all. But I originally started playing Rakdos.
Yeah, you were always into the red-black.
The red-black combination. You always had...
My first one was...
Your first deck that you borrowed from our brother was a red-blue. And then once you got your own, you made, I think, either a white...
It was white-blue.
White-blue.
I was going to do white-black, but I ended up doing white-blue. And then that turned into Selesnya, a white green that I had
Yeah.
for the longest time.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty happy with that.
Um,
I've always been in white though.
Yep.
That's the thing.
Until we got into Commander, and then.
Yeah, now it's fully expanded my arsenal of color usage. Also, I just remember like when we were playing tabletop, I would go to our local game store and looking at cards and talking to the guy behind the counter, and he kept telling me like, "You should get into Commander." Excuse me, and I was like, "Nope."
Yeah.
And I just remember, like, he would say it to me like every time I go in, I'd be like, "Yeah, no, I don't want a format. I don't want rules. I just want to do whatever I want. I want to play whatever I want, and not have that." But ultimately, I did decide to build a Commander deck, a Metal Oro deck, and then forced you to join me. But I don't regret it all. I think it's a blast. I love the format.
Yeah, it's a very fun format.
Yeah. So, and I think that's pretty much our Magic story. Let's get into the channel. We pretty much say it right in the intro there, but we want to talk about cards, the cards that are in the game. We want to talk about those interactions.
We're also not too into budget or like CEDH. It's just whatever synergizes well with the card, or whatever janky card works well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's just about those interactions and what we can see, or how we would use it, or how we would pair it, what commander might we use the card with. Because I mean, there are a lot of cards, and especially in the commander format.
yeah.
So it can create some really interesting effects.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we want to talk about and share with you guys. What do we see when we see a card? How would we use it? And so each week it's going to be a weekly series. We will go over these cards. We're going to try to find cards that interest us. They could be artifacts. They could be potential commanders, or sorceries, or whatever we see that seems like a really cool, fun interaction. We're going to bring that to you guys and discuss it. Like, so you'll find a card, and then I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to figure out how I would use that card, and then you're going to discuss how you would use the card, but like at the same time. Well, I guess what I'm trying to get at is like, so you're going to find a card, you're already going to know pretty much how you're going to use it, and then I'm going to get that information, and then we'll see if there's any overlap. Who knows? Like that's the fun part. It's like you can give multiple people the same card, but maybe they use it in different ways. And so that's what we're going to go over. We're going to say if we like the card, why we like it, that kind of stuff. Should be fun. We're going to try to stay out of politics outside of the game. Yeah. So no smashing on Wizards of the Coast or the Rules Committee.
Right.
Nothing like that.
We don't want to get into we don't want to open that can of worms.
No, we just want to talk about the game that we have and the game that we know. So, yeah, people like to spoil things, you know. The big one recently was some cards got out from a printing thing, and the dude was selling them online. Yeah, that was
okay.
But we're not interested in those sorts of things. We want to talk about what we have and what we know. So right now, we just had a few days where they gave us a couple of spoilers for Kaldheim. Yeah. So stuff like that is safe to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, like when it's officially spoiled from Wizards of the Coast and we know it's coming to the game, we know we have it, exactly what it is, well then we can talk about it on this channel. And just for intents and purposes. And then that goes all the way back to Alpha. And so that's the fun part. Again, there's so many cards and so many ways to use them, and I'm excited to share that stuff with you guys and with you.
Yeah. This is a community
Yeah,
thing.
definitely.
We definitely want to hear your feedback.
Yes. So we hope after it, maybe we missed something. We're not going to talk about every possible interaction.
Mm-hmm.
The show would never end.
Right.
So let us,
1, part 17.
So let us know in the comments and whatnot when we get into the show. Let us know in the comments. Maybe we missed some interactions, but that creates conversation, and that's what we're looking forward to. What are some things, Tony, that we hope to do with the show in the future?
Eventually, we would like to branch out and do deck techs.
Yeah. What are we going to do with those deck techs then? Think we got some plans for those?
We do have plans for those. We plan on randomly selecting listeners and subscribers to the show, and we will contact you and send you the deck that we built.
Yeah, so Tony and I are going to build decks together, and then we'll do a deck tech on that deck and pick one of you guys to win it, and we'll send it to you. So, but again, that's down the road.
Down the line.
Yeah, it's not going to happen right off the bat, but that is a goal of this show. And I'm really looking forward to that. I love building.
But that's for subscribers and listeners. We also intend on having a Patreon, which we have one set up.
Yeah. But we do want to know a little bit from you guys on that. We have it set up, and looking forward to fine-tuning that. So there is one right now that will be in the link description below if you're just really excited for what we want to do, like we are. You could sign up for that. But we do want to know from you guys, what's some things that you would like to see on that tier list? That, I mean, maybe we have it there, or maybe we don't. Just some feedback on how we can present that Patreon a little bit better for you guys. And definitely looking forward to that as well, and that interaction with the Patreon group and those giveaways. And I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I'm really excited for that. Again, the community thing is big. So,
but also don't feel like you have to subscribe to Patreon or anything. Yeah. All the money will go to helping us make the channel better.
Yes.
Getting better equipment and all.
And doing the giveaways.
And doing the giveaways.
All of that stuff is really going to be put back into the show, so we can give you, the listeners and the viewers, the best quality that we can possibly give you guys. And once the ball gets rolling on that kind of stuff, then that money is going to go towards, again, giveaways, but also the money towards our deck techs, so we can build those decks legitimately and send them out to you guys. So that's exciting. Another thing that I want to do, and I was kind of playing with this idea down the line, is and just briefly, I'm into the custom cards, so I follow some things, on like Reddit and so on and so forth, some custom cards, and I'm thinking some quick takes on some custom cards. I like that. I know Mitch over at Commander's Quarters has some stuff like that, and I really like that as well. There's some really great ideas. So it'll be in the vein of our show. How would we use that, and could just be fun. I don't know. I might do it. I might not. We'll see. And then, anything else for hopes?
Eventually, we would like to get guests on the show.
Yes. How did I forget that?
Be it people in our play group, other Magic YouTubers.
Yeah, content creators. Yeah, host would be a lot of fun to, again, just diversify those card interactions and see how somebody else is going to use it.
Yeah.
Which is, for me, exciting. I'm just honestly super giddy about, like, how are we going to use these cards? The host, the gameplay?
Yep.
Gameplay.
Eventually we would like to do gameplay.
That's gonna be a lot of work, and we definitely need help getting there. But that's that's down the road, and hopefully we can get that going. Hopefully you guys like what we're doing enough that you're like, I want to see them play, and so you help us get there to some gameplay. So that would just be a lot of fun. And then you can see us use those card interactions that we've been talking about so much.
Right. And you'll even see that in the deck text.
Yes, in the deck text.
That will also be a way to show card interactions in even more detail.
Yeah,
I guess.
But I think also the deck text will be a way to practice what we preach.
Yeah. And it just...
So I think that wraps that section up. Let's get into what Commander is. Commander is a 100 card singleton format, and that means you can only have, aside from basic lands, you can only have one copy of a card in your deck by name. Right? And then, so that's the basic thing. And then the other part is you have your commander. And you can, when you're building that deck, you can only play cards that fit into your commander's color identity. And what is that, Tim? What is the color identity?
Well, the color identity is any color on the shown on the card, or mana symbol shown on the card, outside of parentheses.
Yeah. It doesn't count if it's in the reminder text. But that's super important because that's gonna, it's kind of like a deck building restriction, and you can only put those colors in there. So that makes it fun and a little bit of a challenge when you are constructing, because in other formats you can maybe splash a little color here or whatever, but you gotta stick within those parameters when you're building.
But that's really the only parameter for the deck.
Other than that, it's pretty wild.
You could have a card where normally everyone goes one way, and you'll be like, well, that's dumb. Let's go this way.
Yeah, there's so many options, and but sticking to what Commander is, it's also a multiplayer casual format. And I think the big thing to point out here is Commander, it started out as Elder Dragon Highlander.
Yes.
And it was created by players, not by Wizards of the Coast. It wasn't thought up in some corporate room to try to sell things. It was just a couple of guys up in Alaska that came up with this game and somehow spread. And now it's an official Wizards of the Coast format, but it's not run by them. It's run by the rules committee. which is a handful of people, and they vote on what they're going to ban or what they're not going to ban. And not talking about any secret layers. I think they do a pretty good job overall of like keeping, you know, the community in mind and what's really best for the format.
But yeah, that I think we covered.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Oh, no. Also to mention an important aspect: commander damage.
oh
And
yeah,
commander. That is big. That's
Co-
actually a really big one.
commander damage is any damage taken by, not by, but dealt by the commander to your opponent. Commander damage goes up,
Yes.
and that you can only take 21
damage.
21 hits of commander damage before losing a game.
Yes. And that's any commander. So if you're running partner commanders, it's not cumulative between the two, it's individual commanders. So if you have two, well, and you hit 10 on one and 11 on the other, that doesn't count as 21. It's got to be 21 from just one commander.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Learn something new every day. We'll
But
put the more you know thing right over.
But I think that's going to do it for this episode. I think that's pretty good. Well, we'd like to say thank you, and we look forward to seeing you in the future for our actual show. We hope that sums things up a little bit, gives you a little idea of what we're going to do.
I guess we're gonna untap this.
We're going to pay 2 to untap.
Yeah.
Have a good day, guys. Thank you.
Bye.